Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Mutea Evans Show. And today is gonna be an exciting one. We're talking about cars. Why cars? Well, it's everyone's dream to own a car at some point, especially when you're young, because you have the energy, you have the time, and there's a lot you can do with your car. So, what are the factors to consider? The title of this video is Factors to Consider Before Buying Your Car. The first question you need to ask yourself, do you really need a car? Cars are a huge investment, and it's a decision, if you take it seriously, can either can really build you to become that financially free person. But if you make a wrong decision once, it can make your financial life very hectic. So it's a decision you really need to spend time on thinking about. So let's start with that. Do you really need a car? And if you're new here, consider subscribing to this video. You're gonna expect similar content that will leave you empowered and bring you knowledge that you so badly require to become the person you've always wanted to become. Okay, so subscribe, like this video, share if your friends would like to see this on WhatsApp, on Facebook, and other social media platforms. Do you really need a car? At what point do you say you need a car? A car is meant for transport, but with time, the needs of a car have really changed. Sometimes a car is a sign of success. It's a measure of how good you're doing. And so if you're in an industry that requires you to look a certain way, maybe you may need a car. Not for transport, but to just make you look comfortable, look rich, look wealthy, look like you're living that life. But mostly today, in today's economy and with technology, we no longer need to own cars. I'll tell you that for sure. If I need a ride, I can get a ride in the shortest time possible. Sometimes faster than I can reach my car that is parked 2 kilometers away or 200 meters away. Yes, requesting for a ride through a taxi hailing company is faster than reaching out with your car. So thinking of a car as a means of transport, that has completely changed. A car today may be for convenience, for prestige, for lifestyle, and to get into a certain social class. If that's the reason, then you can go ahead and get a car. But today, you don't need a car to move around, to move from point A to point B. Yes. So if you don't have any of those other reasons of buying that car, do not buy it. It's a money pit. You lose money. A car loses you money so fast. Starting with the moment you buy it. As soon as the car leaves the car yard, it loses 25% of its value. So you buy a car today, tomorrow, 25% of what you paid is gone. Imagine that. And that's why people prefer getting a used car. Because you get it, a 3-year-old car will cost you half of what it costed as a new car. Well, it's only been driven for 3 years. It has maybe 50k miles on it, and it's still a new car. But you'll save yourself up to 50% because it loses value so fast. So if you don't need it, do not buy it. That money would be better spent elsewhere, where it would gain instead of lose. Let's give a practical example. In Kenya, a good car today will cost you around 2 million shillings, a second-hand car. Okay? You import a previously enjoyed one, let's say from Japan, 2 million. You have a nice crossover, a nice a nice salon compact car that can take you for a few years. Now, as soon as you buy it, it loses value. Then there's the maintenance cost. Maintaining a car is expensive. One of the most expensive car things that cost you a lot maintaining a car is insurance. If you think about 2 million, for example, you'll have to pay on average 5% of the value of the car on insurance every year. 5% of 2 million. Do you know how much is that? It's 5% of a million times 2, which is 5% of a million, we are talking about 50k. So 5% of 2 million, you're talking about 100,000 shillings a year. If you divide by 12 months, on average, 10k. So you're simply paying 10k every month just for insurance. Take a second and let that sink in. 10k. That's someone's rent, it's someone's salary that you're paying every month for insurance alone. You've not talked about servicing, you've not talked about repairs that every car has to go through, fuel, there's parking. Let's talk about parking for a second. It will cost you around 250 shillings to park in most of the cities in this country. Or let's say 200, including the parking boys and everyone else. Once you have a car, you support a lot of families, not just the city county. So 250 times 30 days, that's 2,500 times 3. Okay, that's 7,500. Yes, give or take. 7,500 parking. You've not fueled the car yet. Let's come to fuel. A car that will cost you around 2 million will require you to fuel every day with an average of 500 shillings. So 500 times 30 days, that's 15k. 15,000 shillings. So fuel, let's just talk about fuel, parking, and insurance. 10,000 plus 7,500 plus 15,000. That's 25,000 plus 75, an average of 35,000 shillings to manage a vehicle in a city every month, excluding repairs, excluding what do you call them, servicing, which you do every so often, every 1,000, every 3,000, every 5,000 kilometers, depending on the type of the car. Repairs, you visit the garage every so often. So you see the cost of running a car is pretty expensive. It's in fact more expensive than buying the car itself. So think about that if you really need it. Now, if you pass this question that you really need one, then move to the next one and consider the quality of what you're getting. There are so many brands and models of cars that we are left wondering which is the right one and which is not. Most people tell you a German machine has the prestige. It's true. German machines are probably the most prestigious cars we have today. They have the best technology, some of the highest speeds, maybe beaten by the Italians, but they are good vehicles. Mercedes-Benz, BMW, yes, break my bank. You can also call it that. So if you think of that, or break my wallet, if you think of that, if you are going for quality, then a BMW will do for you, a Mercedes-Benz will do for you. But mostly those cars, an Audi, are not cars you buy as your primary cars. You buy them as a secondary car. You have another car, a compact car, to take you to work, to use it on a daily basis. Then you have that prestige car for your special events, special days, for the weekends, okay? And if that's the case, then you can go for that car. If it's your second car or your third car, which is another big topic, another lesson, or another video we'll have to do. That's a topic for another day, whether you should have a second, third, and fourth car. Yes, for now, let's talk about just a car. So the quality. This is what I advise people. If you're in Kenya and you're looking for a car, let it be based on whether you're keeping that car or you're selling it. If you like to upgrade after a year, after 2 years, after 3 years, then buy a Toyota. I beg you, buy a Toyota. You won't spend a day selling that car. It will be sold in hours. But if you're buying a car to keep, and I got this advice long ago from my mechanic, Mr. Mwigai, salute to him, go for a Subaru. Buy yourself a nice Subaru. It will serve you for years without breaking down, and you'll be happy. Very happy. You'll get the little respect you require on the road. You'll have the stability, the speeds, and it's quite reliable. So if you're buying a car to keep, you can go for a Subaru. If you're buying a car to sell, go for a Toyota. If you're buying a car to keep and for prestige, then buy the German machines. Go for a Range Rover. Go for a BMW. Go for an Audi or any other car. I love fast cars. I love sport cars. My second car, my plans is to do a Nissan GTR. It's a fast car that I really admire. And so that will be a good car to keep, but at the same time for prestige, not a car to use on a daily basis. But for now, I drive a Subaru, by the way. I have had my Subaru. It's now 10 years old. Never had a major issue on it. Usual oil changes, usual servicing. I've not even changed the tires. Just imagine that. It still has its original tires on it 10 years later, and I've not been parking it all the time. I've done 230,000 kilometers so far with that little girl, and she's still as strong as ever. So if you really want a car to keep, a Subaru would be a good pick for you. So for quality, some of the best built cars to last you forever are Toyotas. Yes, they may not have the most power, they may not be the most prestigious cars, but they will take you anywhere and serve you forever. However, you will frequent the garage. Every Toyota owner will tell you that they frequent the garage. If you don't want to frequent the garage, go for a Subaru, a nice Subaru, and it will serve you forever without having to visit the garage every now and then. 2, after you've identified the quality, check on the cost of ownership. Some cars will cost you a fortune to run or to own. The cost of ownership of running a Mercedes-Benz is very expensive. From its cost of doing service, it's very expensive to service a Mercedes-Benz. It will also develop issues every now and then. The suspension, this, that, this. Those are kind of cars you can't spend 3-6 months without visiting the garage. Most of these German cars. So consider that cost, because you're the one to pay for that cost. Remember that. No one will help you pay for that cost. Yes, some cars do not require you so much. For example, a nice Toyota is very efficient when it comes, or a nice Honda, it's very efficient when it comes to fuel consumption. They are fuel economical, and so that brings the cost of operation really down. But again, having had a chance to meet so many people who have had a chance to own different brands, if you really want a car to keep and that has not so good fuel economy, then a Subaru will do for you. But if you went for a German machine, you'll have the prestigious, but prepare for a high cost of ownership. Finally, let's talk about reliability. How reliable is that car? Some of us would rather drive a cheap car than have an expensive car break down every so often. I'll give you an assignment. As you move around the city, as you move around the streets, check around. How many Toyotas do you find towed to the garage for stalling and for developing issues? Very few. Very, very few. What about the German machines? How many of them do you see? Every fucking time. It must be a BMW, a Range Rover, it must be a Mercedes Benz, an Audi. These German machines will really get you thinking or regretting making that decision. So make sure, if you really love reliability, if you don't want to have headaches for making that purchase, go for a reliable machine. Again, on reliability, I think Toyota will wins this big time. But if you like a car that is not very common, you'd go for a Subaru. One more factor to consider is how the car model you're about to get is used in the country, because people will perceive you to be one of those people that the group or your kind of model, your model is used for. I'll give you an example. We have cars used for taxi in Kenya. So if you buy that car for personal use, everyone will think it's just another taxi. If you go for a Toyota Vitz, for example, or a Honda Fit, or a Mazda Demio, all those tiny cars are known to be used for taxi services. So if you're driving your car, expect that kind of a car. Expect to be stopped every now and then by police officers, traffic officers, requesting you to produce documents for this, do this, part with some money, do that, and check a few things, just because they think you're one of those taxi drivers. Okay? So consider that. Consider that, so that you can avoid some of those boys who are not very friendly sometimes on the road. If you buy a Toyota Noah, or a Toyota, the other brand that looks like Noah, I don't remember the name. If you buy that, you'll also be expected to be one of those tours and travel companies, and you'll be stopped here and there, expected to part with some money. You'll be some time. You'll be arrested. People thinking you're one of those. So a car really represents who you are, and you want to consider that before making that huge purchase, so that you don't regret the next day. Think about, how is your car perceived on the road. It's a big factor to consider before making that purchase. Yes. Finally, it's the budget or the cost of buying that car. Ask yourself a question first. Can you afford it? Can you? If you can, then how do you know if you can afford it? I was once told, you only know you can afford a car if you can pay for that car in cash. Well, I beg to differ on that, because I believe sometimes debt is good if you use it the right way. So if it's a car that is bringing business to you, it makes sense to go for a loan and buy a car. Again, it's very difficult to accumulate millions of money in your bank account to buy that car of your choice, or of your dreams. So it may help to take a loan that is considerable. Do not take a loan that requires you to repay 50k a month while your income is 100k. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Make sure at least your payments, your monthly payments, are a quarter, at most a quarter of your income. And if you're in business, that should be in your bad month, not the best month. Consider the worst month of your business. And with that said, I believe I hope you'll make the right decision getting into buying your very first car, or your second. You make the right decision. Otherwise, don't buy a car out of your league to just impress your friends. Remember, most of them do not even see it. We buy cars, we tint them, every window is fully tinted to hide in there. So it makes no sense to push yourself to buy a car you can't afford, to impress friends, to impress people who will not even see you. There are many other ways of really getting the respect you want from your buddies, from your friends, and everyone else. Otherwise, make the right decision so that you don't spend the rest of your life struggling because of that one decision you made wrong. Make the right decision and you'll always be happy. They say maturity is being in a position to own a bigger car but keeping that old car because it runs just okay. Yes, you upgrade or you buy another car when your car is beyond repair. It can be repaired. That's what maturity is. So don't be that guy who's just buying vehicles for fun. No, buy 1, 2 toys and then keep them. Cars are meant to last forever, 20, 25, 30 years. And so it gives you enough time to focus on other things that really, really matter. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's been 20 minutes of talking cars. If you guys would like me to review my old Subaru, which is 10 years old with over 230,000 kilometers on it, let me know in the comment section and I'll do that. I'll show you, I'll do a review of the Subaru and share with you some of the experiences I've had with the Subaru. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one. As always, remember to like this video and subscribe to this channel. And thank you so far for so many subscribers that have come through. See you in the next one and keep smiling because it's the only way. Thank you. See you in the next one.